we are covering being audited, and in that, items 3 and 4 are: do not lose control of your audits and stop the audit if it is becoming derailed. To stay in control of the audits, we follow this form. We did the previous video on that. If the audit is becoming derailed, it normally means it is not following this form. When that happens, you are dealing with a bad apple auditor, or an auditor who has a hidden agenda. That agenda could be any number of things: a power trip, affiliation to some commercial interest, some kind of a conflict of interest. Whatever it is, you are dealing with a bad apple and you need to stop the audit because it is becoming derailed. It may seem a bit extreme, but in the United States they have signs everywhere that say, "Do not feed the bears. A fed bear is a dead bear." Now this really may seem extreme, but it is not. If you start to go along with the auditor who is not following the evaluation form and asking for things that are within their own subjective mind important to them, you are feeding the bear. The first time you give in and allow them to veer off the form and subjectively audit you, you have now given them permission. They will then continue, like this bear is now climbing into the car. So you first gave them a little bit, then they will continue and climb in the car, and then it is actually harmful to the auditor themselves. To give an example, I had one from one of the seaters do this a few years ago, and that person was eventually removed from their office, and I haven't seen them re-enter any QCTO or seater positions after that. It is not a good idea. It is not good for them. It is not good for you. If your audit is becoming derailed, get it back onto the evaluation sheet. If that auditor refuses to return to the evaluation sheet, you are feeding the bears every single time you allow them to continue in that way. An example of a bad auditor asking for subjective items was an auditor asking a client to create a picture book of how to use their LMS. So that's not a reasonable request. It's not anywhere on the evaluation sheet does it say that you must have a how-to guide with step-by-step and pictures on how to use your LMS. So they should not bring that up as something that is remedial and then tell the provider that they're not going to get any further until they do that. I've also seen auditors arrive with a conflict of interest, that these kind of things need to be stopped. A fed bear, it's a dead bear. It sounds extreme, but you give in once, there will be more requests for, I found, increasingly bizarre and subjective things. And once that has gone too far, it eventually explodes as the training provider and the consultant or the auditor, until eventually, in one case, that auditor has been removed from their permanent position, and I think there's been another one that's been removed from a part-time position. Do not feed the bears. If the audit is going off track, stop the audit rather. It may seem crazy to say we stop the audit. Stop the audit. Escalate it with the management of where that auditor came from. And try and fix it from there. But of course, if they are following the evaluation form, and the evaluation form says you must have something, like in the previous video, the ID numbers of the directors on your CIPC form page 2, then you need to just provide that. So be compliant, do the right thing, but don't feed the bears.